Well, forbidden fruit. Now mine wasn't exactly forbidden, but it was counter common sense. In the days of yore, way back, 1988, in Milwaukee, the Lakefront Festival of Arts. I'd been there, and at the museum, I was introduced to a man who was a guard there at the museum. And for the sake of this story, I'll just call the guy, I'll call him Scott. And so, Scott worked at the museum. He was part-time at the museum while he was attending school, engineering. He was a very conscientious student and doing quite well. And so Scott, we hit it off. He was considerably younger than I. And, but we hit it off really well. And, we spent the day together after the closing of the festival and everything. And a couple days later, I left for a conference in northern Wisconsin it was called the Gaia, Gaia. And it was a excellent conference, a week well spent. But all the while, I was thinking about Scott. And, really wanting to get back to Milwaukee, see Scott. So when I got back to Milwaukee, we got together and we found out we had so many things in common. Music, art, dancing. We had many friends together, and outdoors. We just enjoyed so many things together. And, I just got really crazy for Scott. And, all the things we did together. And then we went to see Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee Herman. We saw Pee Wee's Big Adventure. And, oh God, we loved Pee Wee. And so all these things, the next few months went swimmingly. And at Christmas time, to get him something special, there was this Pee Wee Herman talking doll. It was, 17 inches high. You pull a string on the back and it said several things. It said, I know you are, but what am I? And it said, arg. And then it said, hey, what's that? Made you look. These are things that Pee Wee said. So Pee Wee came in a tall box with a clear cellophane window. You could see Pee Wee in there, and his Cherry, which was his blue chair, sitting in the back of him. And so we loved Pee Wee. So anyway, the next months went very well. And then, Christmas, I gave him the Pee Wee doll. And he wanted to go see his parents for Christmas. And I didn't particularly want to go meet his parents, as I was quite sure his mother and I were pretty much the same age. So I didn't go, but Pee Wee stayed with me. So, after Christmas, the next months went really well, we loved being together. It was just, I couldn't get enough of this guy. So, hey, yes, and then we'd be together on, days, and then he started missing classes, we'd stay together. And that couldn't be because he had the promise of a really good job at a company that made generators in Milwaukee. So I, couldn't miss any more classes. And but in April, my son at the time was living in New Orleans. He lived in the French Quarter in New Orleans. And so I took the train. I went to visit my son. And I was very thankful that my son lived this distance because he and Scott weren't meeting, and Scott wasn't all that much older than my son, you know. So I was glad for that. So, yeah, so I went to New Orleans, and you know, he lived in the French Quarter, and that's sort of like all these stores, the, you know, occult and the witchcraft stores and voodoo and all this. So here, then this is a mojo. I got this in New Orleans. This was a voodoo chicken man made this for me. And so, and Scott, you know, for whatever reason, he thought I could do magic. He thought I could, you know, had magic ability. So so I got back he picked me up from the train station after New Orleans, and he was really quiet, you know. He didn't, you know, I could tell something was up, something wrong, and but, you know, we got back to my house, and I unpacked some stuff, and my mojo and other stuff. And then then he dumped me. He dumped me right then and there, and it was like I'd been sucker punched. I knew what it meant, broken heart, you know, and the hurt of broken love and all that. Oh, it was physical. I could feel it. Terrible. Never before and since have I felt that. So no, that's not it. You're close to the end here. So oh God, my mind here.
So your feelings were hurt. He made you really sad.
Oh my God, he was like a sucker punch, etc. And so he dumped me, and he worked at the art museum. He was still working part-time while he was going to school. And and he had the promise of this good job with, you know, this company. And he dumped me. He was working at the art museum. His car was parked at the time. They had a parking lot, you know, he could park his car just close to the entrance to the art museum. And then at the parking lot, the gatekeeper to the parking lot was a friend of mine and of Scott's. And so I got rid of everything of Scott's, and then I had his can of shaving cream, you know, and I took it and I made all over his car with the shaving cream.
Oh my God.
And, you know, it was like a work of art. Very, you know. So that was that. And then, you know, time went past, and he graduated, and he worked, you know, started working at this company making generators. And but I still had Pee-wee. And, you know, I wanted Pee-wee gone. And so I took Pee-wee. I had some, like they were made to size for Pee-wee. I had a little black cap, a hood. It was like a hood, like a hangman puts on somebody before they hang them. And then I had a little cord, which was just like the kind of a rope you would, you know.
Oh my God.
So I took that and I made a big heart, red heart, and on that I wrote, "Good luck, Scott." And then I had a big hairpin, and on the hairpin, I took it and I put it in Scott, and I hung Pee-wee from the top. So Pee-wee's hanging with this in this case. You could see him through the cellophane window. And I took it, I wrapped it in brown paper, and I took it to the office, to the reception desk of the company where he was working. And I left it for him, and I told her, you know, this is for Scott. And, Scott, he thought I put a curse on him. He thought I had cursed him. So But, you know, he thought I could do magic. He thought I cursed him. And so, well, I just let him believe it. That's it. Thanks for listening.
Let's give it up one more time for Carol. Oh my God. So right, I'm newly single, and Carol, you're hot, but don't call me. I don't want any of that smoke.
Awesome. Well, as you can see, this is how we do. This is the sound, the vibes, the energy for the evening. Sharing space, sharing stories is what we do. So you probably noticed amongst the building thermometers and signs that are speaking about donating and